Good day. I'm Roderick Pangindian and I'll be presenting about the influencer persona and consumer attitude as indices of purchase intention, an assessment by selected millennials and Generation Z. The rise of social media gave way to persons that affects people's attitude and individuals that most are paid to promote products and services on the platform. The growth of these influencers have continuously helped brands strengthen the relationship with the consumers. Social media is said to be an effective marketing tool, to which most of the consumer goods companies use it as a strategic platform. In the online marketing space, Digital Marketing Institute said that the influencers are more trusted by teens, about 70%, in comparison to traditional celebrity endorsers. With 86% of women rely on social media in terms of purchasing decisions, mostly from Facebook and Instagram. In an article by Julie Land, the writer mentioned social media marketing has greatly impacted the beauty industry, which makes it one of the most benefited industries. Social media continues to play a big role in shaping the beauty industry. It continues to be the driving force for new opportunities and challenges. Numerous beauty brands have also opted to allocate a big amount of their budget to social media influencer marketing. The rise of beauty influencers have been increasingly significant, noting that they have generated over 169 billion views on YouTube videos alone. Furthermore, in 2014, the beauty industry has revealed to be fourth in terms of the reach of influencers in social media marketing in the United States. According to Media Kicks, along with continuously building their name and image through different social media platforms, these social media influencers are using their social capital in starting their brands and entrepreneurial ventures. Influencer entrepreneurs are slowly rising as a new venture given the age of digital media technologies. Having the advantage of getting to know their followers and unfulfilled needs has driven social media influencers to create their own brands. The power to influence consumer purchase intention and influencer entrepreneurs is a combination that has not been delved into deeper yet. Various research has been conducted on social media beauty influencers and their effect on social media brands, but there is minimal influencer, or rather, there is minimal research focused on social media beauty influencer entrepreneurs and their power to attract consumers to purchase from them. To gain more knowledge about the relationship between social media beauty influencer entrepreneurs and their followers, the researchers have chosen to look into this topic. The research targeted to study the persona of social media influencer entrepreneurs, further on referred to as the influencer persona, that contributes to the purchase intention of consumers aged 18 to 35 years old from Metro Manila to brands owned by these influencers. For the problem statements, can consumer attitude explain the association between influencer persona and purchase intention? For the scope and limitation, the scope of this research mainly focuses on the beauty industry, specifically social media beauty influencer entrepreneurs who produce and sell their makeup tools such as brushes, sponges, and cosmetic products such as eyeshadows, palettes, lipsticks, highlighters, and the such. This social media influencer must be present on social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This research only included influencer entrepreneurs who have started their career as social media influencers online. Celebrities and television personalities who have created their brands are excluded from the study. Here is the illustration for the conceptual framework. The conceptual framework presented the independent and dependent variables of the study along with the mediating variable. The framework depicted that the influencer persona as the independent variable affects the consumer attitude. It is then seen to affect the purchase intention of consumers, acting as the dependent variable to the brand of the beauty influencer entrepreneur. This shows an indirect influence of social media beauty influencer entrepreneur to the consumer purchase intention. At the same time, Direct relationships were established with the influencer persona to consumer purchase intention. With these established relationships, consumer attitude was identified to be the mediating variable. Attractiveness, similarities, authenticity, and trustworthiness are the common aspects used to describe and analyze social media influencers and their engagement to their followers. These were also seen as the characteristics that marketers look into ensure that social media influencers effectively conveys to consumers the brand's message and identity. Moreover, consumer attitude was chosen as the mediating variable as it exhibits a parallel relationships with purchase intention in consumer studies. Some studies in the past also found no direct relationship of some influencer persona to purchase intention, giving rise to the use of the mediating variable for this research. The constructs of the operational framework under influencer persona were further expanded into particular measures. In the study by Hackinson et al. Of 2020, similar studies were cited that utilizes specific qualities of social media influencers in relation to those identified in the study, which is attractiveness, similarities, authenticity, and trustworthiness. In relation to attractiveness, social attractiveness was used by Sokolova and Kefi in 2020, as well as Lee and Watkins in 2016. Attitude, homophilia, or similarity of individual to another was also used by the aforementioned authors. Alongside parasocial interaction related to authenticity, as it is developed through the sharing of personal experiences and stories by social media influencers to their followers. Credibility as utilized by Sokolova and Kefi, as well as Yui in 2017, Lu and Yuan in 2019. Related trustworthiness that is similar pertains to the knowledge, meaningfulness, reliability of social media influencer. Among the characteristics of social media influencers used in previous study, these four characteristics were discovered to have the most effect on consumer purchase intention for the brands or products being endorsed by the influencer. Given the research gap that this research fulfilled, the researchers look into the persona of the influencers in order to test and identify whether it brought the same effect to the brands or business owned by these influencer entrepreneurs themselves. For the hypothesis, we have the following hypothesis. Influencer persona can predict consumer purchase intention. Influencer persona significantly influence on consumer attitude. And lastly, consumer attitude explain the association between influencer persona and purchase intention. For the methodology, the research locale will be in the Philippines. Facebook and Instagram are two of the most used social media platforms with 58 and 10% users for each respectively. 88% of 18 to 29 years old Filipinos are Facebook users, and also more than half of those aged 30 to 49 years old are users at 57%. The causal research, on the other hand, look into the effect of influencer persona on consumer attitude and purchase intention. Each research proponent observed the number of active users present in their respective social media in a given month, and therefore gathered a total population of 740 active individuals. Using the Sloven's formula, 260C was taken as a sample size given along with the margin of error and with the significance level of 95%. Now, for the results and findings, it can be seen that the figure about the influencer persona increased while the figure below shows the same that can be concluded. However, only about 0.642 has been able to explain the relationship between influencer persona to consumer purchase intention. This is supported that the existence of partial mediation, which according to Baron and Kenny, is concluded where path C equates to non-zero value. In addition to the significance of both p-values, there has been a decrease on the impact of the influence in the latter relationship due to the presence of the mediating variable, which is consumer attitude. As a mediating variable, it was also influenced by influencer persona of 0.888 and consequently affected purchase intention by 0.290. It has been seen as well that the total effect of influencer persona to purchase intention is 0.899, while its direct effect was only 0.642. Subtracting the latter from the former showed that the indirect effect that the consumer attitude contributed, which result to 0.257. The indirect effect signifies the amount of mediation that is present in the studied relationship. Alternatively, this can also be known as the multiplying the regression coefficients of path A and B. Based on the results of the hypothesis, the ability of the influencer persona in predicting the consumer purchase intention was significant, which led to the rejection of the null hypothesis. Moreover, from the second hypothesis, influencer persona influencing consumer attitude results in the same conclusion. Lastly, influencer persona also significantly impacted purchase intention with the mediating impact of consumer attitude. The following results obtained show that there is rather a positive relationship between influencer persona and purchase intention with or without the presence of consumer attitude. In a way, the result implied that both paths contribute and positively affect in driving consumer to develop intentions to purchase intention, or rather, intention to purchase the product from beauty influence owned brands. Here is the summary of the hypothesis. Now, for the conclusion, the study utilized 4 constructs on the influencer persona that specify the characteristics that social media influencers are associated with. Based on the data gathered, credibility was exhibited to a fairly good extent with the highest mean of 4.08. Parasocial interaction and social attractiveness were also demonstratedly to be fairly a good extent. Among the 4 constructs, attitude and homophily accumulated the lowest mean score of only 3.31. The regression analysis conducted for these 2 factors resulted with a p-value of less than 0.001, thus affirming that influencer persona strongly predicts consumer purchase intention. Given this, the research proponents concluded that influencer entrepreneurs should possess the characteristics of credibility, parasocial interaction, attitude, homophily, and social attractiveness. Since the result of the study claims that influencer persona significantly influences the purchase intention of the customers. Can influencer influence consumer attitudes? Based on the results gathered, the examined thorough regression analysis, which resulted with a p-value of less than 0.001, the research proponent deduced that the influencer persona has significantly influenced consumer attitude. However, the results also suggest that there are other external factors that can similarly influence the attitude of the consumers. In conclusion, can be supported by Hossein according to study in 2020, wherein the author claimed that influencers have the power in predicting purchase intention as well as forming the attitudes of consumers. Also, it was stated that social media influencers are endorsers who have power to build a certain attitude, perceptions, and behaviors of the followers towards the brands or products. Furthermore, Forbes in 2016 mentioned that the knowledge, expertise, and confidence of influencers are some of the factors that assures consumers when trusting certain brands. In understanding the relationship or the relation of influencer persona and consumer attitude, To customer purchase intention, a multiple regression analysis was conducted. Based on the result, the R-squared value shows that the influencer persona, consumer attitude, combined influences consumer purchase intention by 58.33%, while other external factors composing the remaining 41.7%. The p-value of less than 0.001 was also concluded from both influencer persona and consumer attitude in relation to consumer purchase intention, deeming that the independent variable and mediating variables are both significant. The conclusion can be supported by Lim et al. In 2017, wherein the author concluded that the consumer attitude affects purchase intentions of customers, while Hackenson et al. In 2020 claimed that influencers, through the characteristics they possesses, contributes to the persuasion effect of the customers, or rather to the customers. Not only do the characteristics of the influencers have an effect on the purchase intention of the customers, but their attitude, perception, behavior towards certain brands are deemed to be factored as well. The researchers therefore concluded that influencer persona influences consumer purchase intention, but is partially mediated by consumer attitude. This translates that consumer attitude does not completely explain purchase intention, as influencer persona still directly influences the latter, then viewed simultaneously through mediation analysis. With that, thank you for listening to my presentation. Again, I'm Roderick Pangindian from De La Salle University.